All right, we're going to break into the commercials because we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect just south and east of Wilmington. It is moving just to the east of Bear and moving into southern and eastern parts of New Jersey on double scan live radar. We'll go a little bit closer here. This is the tornado warning, a warning meaning the radar is indicating there could potentially be a tornado released from this thunderstorm. It was just to the east of Bear. It's moving to the east-southeast at about 20 to 25 miles an hour, heading towards Salem, just to the south of Woodstown. So if you're near Woodstown, south of there, in and around Salem, you want to take shelter right now in the lowest part of your home, away from the windows. The basement's the best thing. If you don't have a basement, first floor, interior room with no windows, as we have that tornado warning. As we take a look at double scan live radar, there you can see the cylinder on the radar. It is just to the east of Bear, right on the verge of Pennsville, as it's pushing over the Delaware River right now. Again, moving in this trajectory, which would take it right between Salem, Woodstown, and just to the south of Pennsville. Some of the towns here: Harrisonville at 451, Salem at 457, Welshville at 503, Alloway at 513, and Fenwick at 516. There we can see the cylinder on the radar right near Newcastle. You can see it is 11 lightning strikes, not a lot of lightning, but it is an indication of the cylinder on double scan live radar just to the north and east of Red Lion and Bear. And you can see more cylinders popping up. Some of these cylinders are showing winds turning in the upper part of the atmosphere. Some of them showing it turning in the lower part of the atmosphere. Now we're switching double scan live radar and we're putting it on a storm reflectivity mode. Basically, we're taking the winds of the storm, of its momentum, taking that away and just showing the winds in the upper atmosphere. And where you have red, this particular area near Newcastle, and green, the green is particular winds moving toward the radar, winds moving away from the radar in the red. So you have these opposite colors on the reflectivity mode here. It is showing that one moves in this direction, the other moves in this direction. So you have these counterclockwise winds around this particular area of the storm. It is right near Lehigh Road to the south of Pennville, heading towards Harrisonville and moving away from Newcastle right now. Another indication, you could see a little hook in the radar, which would show some of the winds rotating as it is being pulled into the storm here, and that's what starts to wrap the winds around the storm. This is radar indicated for this particular area, and if we take a look at Storm Tracker 6 Live 3D, also on this particular double scan live, we can tilt the storm, look underneath, and this not only has one cylinder, but there's a couple of different cylinders, which is really a powerful indication that this has a lot of rotating winds, not only upper part of the atmosphere where the storm has blossomed, but also at the surface. Again, what you want to do, seek shelter right now. You go to the basement, a closet, interior hall. This is until 5 o'clock, so this tornado warning for another 17 minutes. Avoid windows and stay or move indoors if you can. Let's go back to the radar and take a look at double scan live radar. And there you can see the cylinders as it is now just to the southwest of Pennsville, south of Newcastle, north of Delaware City. The towns that it is heading towards right now is Penns Beach at 446, Pennsville 448, in the tract of Central Park around 4:48 p.m., Churchtown around 10 minutes till 5 o'clock, and then Beaver Dam at 4:52. Again, we're still seeing the cylinders on the radar heading towards Route 49 right now, south of Pennsville to the north of Salem. The trajectory now is to the east at about 20 miles an hour on double scan live radar. There you see the rotating cylinders. There are the towns listed. If you don't see your town, but you are close to one of these areas, you want to take shelter, again, until 5 o'clock, until you no longer hear the thunder as the storm passes by. But it is approaching Route 49 right now. Again, the area I want to show you where the tornado warning is in effect until 5 o'clock. Right around Salem to the south of Woodstown. Right now, Deerfield, as you head towards Cumberland County, you're not within this warning. Right now, it is just confined to central parts and western parts of Salem County, just to the east of the river. Again, you want to seek shelter in the lowest levels of your home. This is Doppler indicated. There wasn't a call in, by a spotter, trained spotter, or emergency management of seeing a tornado on the ground. It is just that the radar is showing up these cylinders again with this nasty line of storms that has developed and caused flooding in and around Wilmington. It is slowly moving to the east, southeast right now. 18 lightning strikes. Central Park 448, Churchtown at 449, approaching Pennsville 448. That's about 3 minutes from now. Mahoneyville at 450 and Beaver Dam at 4:52 p.m. You're hearing the thunder in Salem. You want to take shelter if you're in Salem or to the north and east of there near Woodstown. Also, if you're right around Pennsville, that is also where you want to take shelter at this particular time as the storm continues to show that rotating cylinder as it heads off to the south and east. Again, we are showing you some of the storm reflectivity, which is a whole different part of double scan live radar. I'm going to bring in meteorologist Cecily Tynan. She can explain exactly what's going on there with that red and green.
That's right, exactly. Great job, by the way, Adam. I was back in the weather office when I saw the rotation, and I thought, wow, this storm really looks serious. And just moments after that, they did issue the tornado warning. When we show the reflectivity, this shows the wind direction. When you have the red, that's the wind going away from the radar site. When you see the green that we saw in the earlier frames there, that's the winds heading towards the radar site. When you do have those shifting winds, you get that rotation, that can indicate a tornado. So this is why we do take any tornado warning very seriously. Again, that is moving at 20 miles per hour towards the east. So if you live in these communities, Penns Branch, Pennsville, Central Park, Churchville, Mahoneyville, and Beaver Dam, you really do need to seek shelter immediately. One thing we talk about tornado safety, I think I can show that graphic. What you need to do is you need to put as many layers between you and the outside as possible. So we always say go into a basement, but a lot of people say, I don't have a basement. So what you want to do, you want to get to a closet or an interior hallway. You want to avoid windows. Most of the damage when you have tornadoes, when you have those strong winds, is the fact that the windows shatter. And of course, if you're outside, you need to move indoors. The worst thing you can do is get into your car to try to outrun a tornado. You want to move indoors, get out of your car. If you're in a car, you want to go ahead and get in a ditch. So I do want to show you again what we're looking at. When you see the red, that's a tornado warning for Salem County, and you see that rotation. That's a rotation in the atmosphere. Doesn't mean that we actually do, in fact, have a tornado, but there is a potential there, so you do want to get out immediately. Let me get a quick glass of water, toss back to Adam in the big board. I'm losing my voice now, and we'll talk more about what you need to do.
Yeah. You know, Cecily, I was talking to Paul, who's our weather producer here, overlooking the radar, and we were showing that this particular one, as we take a look at double scan live radar in the 3D mode, it's still showing the cylinder there. However, if I bring in and we take a look at double scan live radar in the other mode, we can show that that cylinder is no longer showing up on the radar. Before, we had those cylinders near Pennsville. Doesn't necessarily mean to take your guard down. You want to keep your guard up through the 5 o'clock hour for at least the next 12 minutes. It is approaching Route 49 right now and Sharptown Road to the south and east of Woodstown, north of Salem. You still kind of see that little void in the radar. So Glenside 449, Harrisonville at 449, Salem 454 is when the heart of this storm will pass through, and also Mannington Mills at 456. But again, this is the radar, which is showing the intense rain with the bright reds. Paul, if we can flip this again to that reflectivity mode, the storm relative velocity, where it encounters and takes out the motion of the storm and shows the winds in the storm. Before, you saw when we were speaking of that red bumping against the green, where you had the red moving away from the radar, you had the green moving towards the radar. They were side by side, and that is an indication that they're tightly wound. As we're looking right now, you can see there is separation between the red and the green, which would indicate that this storm is beginning to weaken as it's pushing to south and east, especially with its winds rotating in the storm. But again, that is just an observation from my eye, but still the tornado warning is in effect near Pennsville, approaching 49 right now. Also, Pointers, Auburn Road, that's where the storm is heading towards. Sharpton Road as well. And we zoom in here Again, this is not an extremely populated area. As you can see, we do have a lot of water in here. There's a few streets to the north of Pointers Arbor Road. Welshville, you do have communities in here. Also, Harrisonville and Pennsville, you've got a lot of communities in that area, and that's where the storm is approaching right now with a decent amount of lightning strikes. So you're hearing constant lightning and thunder. But again, if you're in this area, the tornado warning still up in the box of red from Woodstown, Salem to the north and west of Deerfield. If you're in this area, this is what you want to do. We'll go to the map of seeking shelter. Again, a great reminder for all of us in case one of these pops up again later on this evening or some other time this summer. You go to the basement, the closet, interior hall. You want to avoid all windows. Stay or move indoors if you happen to be around. This is a very popular time for people to be traveling on the roadways as well with their evening commute. But as we look at Double Scan Live, in that 3D mode where we can tilt the radar and look underneath, it is still showing one column. You can see it underneath here as it is just to the north and just to the east of Salem. So here is Salem. There's that rotating cylinder to the north and east of Salem. But if we go a little closer again on the radar, there we can see it is now basically approaching, if not about to cross over, Route 49 north of Salem. If you're in Delaware City, you're hearing the thunder, but you're clear from this particular storm because it's south and west of where that particular tornado warning is in effect. It has now also passed by Newcastle. So if you're in Newcastle, if you're hearing us and you're in your interior room, or you can still hear the TV. Sometimes you want to say pump up the TV. If you're taking shelter, you are clear right now in Newcastle as it's pushed to the south and east. It is just south of Pennsville right now along 49, heading to the southern part of Pointers Sharpton Road. If you know that road and you live along it or are traveling along it north of Woodstown, you're away from the direct path of where there could be this tornado in the storm. Again, it is Doppler indicated. Let's throw some more towns on here. There you can see Central Park at 451, Harrisonville at 454, Beaver Dam at 454, and Glenside 455. There you go. Pops up again where the radar sees some more cyclonic curvature or cyclonic flow to the atmosphere. Wasn't there for the last 3 or 4 minutes, popped back up just to the south of Pennsville as it's crossing over 49, moving to the east at about 20 miles an hour. Not only one, but there we have 2 cylinders now developing on Double Scan Live radar as this is now basically moving over the Delaware River into southern New Jersey, right around Salem. Yes, we can close in a little bit closer here, Paul, and maybe we'll put on that reflectivity mode again to see if those reds and greens somehow are coming closer together again. They did widen out just a little bit, but we'll close in here. And right now, where you're seeing the cylinders near Pennsville and just to the north of Harrisonville, at this point, what I'm seeing here is a lot of red on there. The green is way down to the south. So right now, this particular mode on double scan would indicate that you have those back-to-back winds, one moving away from the radar, one moving towards to create that cyclonic curvature. But Cecily, nonetheless, when you see these cylinders popping up on double scan live radar and you have the tornado warning in effect till 5, no matter what, you take shelter and stay there until the storm passes.
That's exactly right. We really do want to take this seriously, especially because the National Weather Service has just issued another statement saying that they will continue this tornado warning until 5 o'clock. A lot of times when the National Weather Service sees a cell that's capable of producing a tornado, once you lose that rotation, they will actually cancel that tornado warning early. But they've just issued a statement saying that tornado warning does continue until 5 o'clock. So you can see we're really zoomed in right now. Fort Mott Road right now, we see a little bit of that curvature with the radar echo. A lot of times that is an indication of the rushing winds that could cause a tornado. So we really do want to take this very seriously. We're a little bit wider now, 18 lightning strikes in the past 15 minutes in this very small area. It's moving out of Newcastle County. It's beginning to cross across the Delaware Bay into Salem County. So that's why that tornado warning is in effect for Salem County until 5 o'clock. And when you see that rotation, that doesn't always indicate a tornado, but that shows the possibility of a tornado. It's moving east at 20 miles per hour. So these are the communities that are in the path of this potential tornado. Harrisonville, Beaver Dam, Glenside, Biddle's Landing, Marshallton, and Mannington Mills, all in the path of this possible tornado moving out of Delaware Delaware City into Salem County and perhaps towards Woodstown and Alloway. So again, this is something we don't deal with a lot in the Delaware Valley, but tornado warning, the safety. If you're in the path of the storm, you need to seek shelter now. You want to get into a basement if you have it, or a closet or interior hallway. You want to avoid windows. Windows are very dangerous with a tornado, and if you are outdoors, you of course want to get indoors immediately. Not only do we have the potential for tornado, we have a lot of lightning strikes with this. So double scan live, closer up, showing again Salem County right now until 5 o'clock. The potential for tornado, that tornado warning continues. We have had a live camera. I don't know if we can put this up behind me in Wilmington, because this is about 8 miles south of Wilmington, and we've been tracking some of the dark storm clouds. You can switch that right now. Yeah. Adam's over here switching it for me. And we've been looking at the ominous clouds with this cell that, again, we've been seeing the rotation popping up, and then we lose it for a little while, and then it pops up again. So that tornado warning does continue until 5 o'clock for Salem County. If you're just tuning in now, this went into effect about 10 minutes ago. It continues, and I guess we don't have that shot right now, but we'll show it to you as we begin to see a little bit closer up. Now, I do want to show you wider view on Double Scan Live that you can see that we are looking at a lot of cells popping up. One reaching the coast right now, another one across Newcastle County into Salem County. That's the one we're really concerned with now, because the tornado possibility, because we've seen a rotation with that cell. So that tornado warning continues for Salem County, this very small area, until 5 o'clock, since we've seen the potential for a tornado developing. Pennsville right now, you're really right under the gun. And again, you see a little bit of a curve that could indicate some of the rushing winds that could cause a tornado. I want to toss it over to Adam, and you can show another view. Adam.
Yeah, and I can show the particular towns that this storm is moving in as we've updated the track, as it's now just to the south and east of Pennsville, near Marshallton at 5:01, Pointers at 5:03, Slaps Corner at 5:04. As we get into Welshville, that's around 5:06, and Halltown at 5:08 p.m. I was reading some of the statements from the National Weather Service, and in Wilmington, they've seen P to dime-size hail with this storm being reported. Again, as this continues to track to the east, there we can see around Sharpton Road, Welshville Road, as it's approaching, you still have that cylinder that is rotating. So Brian and Sarah, we're watching this as it unfolds and heads to the south and east. That tornado warning until 5 o'clock. So stay in your shelter or first level of your home if you're in this area, and we'll keep updating you as we get past, especially that 5 o'clock hour, to see if this extends or not.
That's exactly right, because it could well extend at this point. All right, Adam, thanks very much. We've got continuing coverage on the severe weather situation as Action News continues tonight.
And don't forget all our resources on 6abc.com as we continue to track this severe weather. Action News at 5 o'clock is next.
Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Jamie Apodi, meteorologist Cecily Tynan, Rick Williams, and Monica Malpass.
Monday night, the big story on Action News is the latest on some strong storms that are now hitting our region.
That's right. A tornado warning is about to expire in Salem County, New Jersey. Meteorologist Cecily Tynan is here with the latest from AccuWeather. It's about to expire, but it could also be extended, Cecily.
Well, it has expired, actually, now that it's 5 o'clock, so that's good news. Storm Tracker 6, though, live double scan showing that we're certainly not out of the woods yet as far as severe weather. That tornado warning for Salem County has now expired, but as we zoom in, we want to show you that this is still a very formidable storm. We're still seeing some rotation that doesn't always indicate it's a tornado, but it does show the strength of that storm system. Some heavy rain, a lot of lightning strikes. Halltown, Courses Landing, Acton, Penton, Sharptown, and Motors all in the path of the storm. And Paul, if we can switch it over to show the hail, that we are looking at some hail that's been moving through. Wilmington Airport has been reporting hail, and this is a hail core, and we're looking at hail that could be an inch in diameter. So that's pretty big hail. That storm system is moving to the east at 20 miles per hour, and we have had reports of hail, some gusty winds, wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour as well. So this is one of the many storms that we're looking at that are cropping up. We had one round this morning, another round developing this afternoon, and you can see this cluster of storms with 30 lightning strikes really right over the I-95 corridor. The problem with these storms is that they're dropping a tremendous tremendous amount of rain in a very short period of time. I know I always say we need the rain. The problem when we have an air mass that is really saturated like it is today, we're getting the rain falling at the rate of 1 to 2 inches per hour. Rain like that does not get really soaked up into the atmosphere. It's running off, and it is causing some flooding. So this shows the rainfall rates where you see the green, that's about an inch an hour. But this cell, the same cell we were tracking with the potential for a tornado, has rain falling at the rate of 3 inches per hour. It's moving east to 20 miles an hour, so it's fairly slow, so this likely will cause some flash flooding. So once again, that term, turn around, don't drown. Do not run into flooded roads because your car can stall and it can really be carried away. So that flash flood warning continues until 6:45. This is for Newcastle County. This is where up to 4 inches of rain has already fallen and more is on the way. So we do have flash flood watches posted for our entire viewing area. A flash flood warning also for parts of Burlington, Camden, Gloucester, Salem, and Cumberland County. This is also where up to 4 inches of rain has fallen. I'll talk about when we finally dry out coming up in the full AccuWeather forecast. Monica.
Thank you, Cecily. Of course, stay ahead of the changes in the weather by checking 6abc.com/weather. You can always find live Storm Tracker 6 radar and that 7-day forecast and get the very latest from our team of meteorologists.